everybody. This is day 2 of my match versus Odin. Today I played rounds 3 and 4, and I'm playing right now against Odin Blikra, who is a Norwegian candidate master. He's a strong player, and we're doing a 6-game match to figure out who is the better player out of us two. Now, all the games are rated, and wow, today was an insanely day. I'm so excited to show you the games. I think that you almost had to see it live to truly understand how epic it was, but I'm going to try to give it as good of a breakthrough as possible. Breakthrough, is that the word to use? I don't know. Anyways, I also can't stop staring at the background. I don't know what's going on over there. Just don't look at it, okay? Look at the chess, okay? Let me show you the round that I played this morning. Round 3 versus Odin. So I had the black pieces, and he went e4. I played c5. Coming into today, the score was 1.5 versus a half. I lost the first game yesterday and I drew the second. So now it was really important for me to not lose this game, because if I did, it would be very, very difficult in the match situation for me. Now, if you don't know who Odin is, he's famous for having the Guinness World Record for most chess played in a row. He played chess for over 62 hours over the board, which is completely crazy. Also, I'm holding the microphone because I find it fun. I know a lot of you are going to say, Anna, don't hold the microphone, just like put it somewhere. No, I want to hold it. I want to hold my microphone, okay? Were you going to say that? I don't know. Okay, anyways, so d4, we traded. This all became a Sicilian, and this actually became the same position as the first day, the same opening, but I had actually prepared this time. So I actually did kind of know what to do against exactly what he was going to play. So this is a Sveshnikov. All of this is theory. Now he went c4 to threaten here on b5. I played b4, same position as the first day. However, yesterday what I did was that I played a5 here to defend the pawn. Now I decided to castle instead. So he played h4. And the idea of this is just simply that he wants to create an attack at some point, and he's kind of signalizing, okay, I'm going to be attacking your king. And if you don't know Odin, I mean, then, well, Odin attacks in every single game. Like, he just pushes the pawns in front of the king, and that's what happens. So now I went a5 to defend the pawn. He played g3. I went bishop e6. I was playing this very fast. He went queen d3, and I went a4. Now here, he played knight e3, and I actually hadn't really looked at exactly this move because it's not the best. So I wasn't really sure exactly what to do, but it was kind of stupid because this is what he played the first day. But I ended up playing this move knight d4, just getting my knight into the center, and now he castled queenside. And this was very expected. I mean, this is a very Odin way of playing, castling queenside, attacking the king. And now the problem that I have is that it looks as if I have a great attack going on, but we have a situation where no matter what pawn I push forward, he's going to push the other pawn as well. So I need to find a way of breaking through. And my fear is always, oh, my only way of breaking through is by sacrificing a piece. But that doesn't feel so good, right? Because if I don't win, then I'm losing. So here I started thinking, like, what do I do? And I came up with this idea of going queen a5. And you're going to see what my idea with this move is. It was a little bit sneaky. The idea was that after he did all of these moves, I decided to keep my bishop. I didn't really want him to trade off the bishops, so I decided to keep it. He went king b1. My idea now is to go queen c5, and it looks as if I'm doing nothing, but actually I'm preparing an attack. He went f4, very similar to what he played the first day. I went rook b8. And now the idea was that after he goes f5, which I was sure he was going to do, my plan was to take, and go b3. Well, sorry, go f6 first, and then b3. And the idea of this, I was really excited about this idea, was that I knew that he was going to play a3, but after knight c2, I had a lot of ideas of sacrificing my knight for this pawn, getting in my queen, and then maybe checkmating. So this didn't work specifically now, but I was really excited about this idea. So he brought back his knight to threaten my pawn, and I now realized that, okay, I need to do something about this. I went bishop a5 so that 1, I would be threatening this knight, and 2, now if he would take my pawn, for instance, this would fail due to knight takes pawn, and after takes, I take back and I'm threatening both to pretty much checkmate and this knight. I thought this was so nice. So yeah, so instead of that, he checked, we traded queens, and now I thought I was totally fine. But here I have to go for this move, bishop b6, to get my bishop active in the game. I was maybe a little bit too optimistic about my position here. And I was like, oh, I got a fantastic knight. I got a fantastic bishop. I don't need to do that. I can just do whatever. But this bishop really sucks, especially because all of these pawns are in dark squares. So it becomes a big pawn over here. So I went rook f7 because I wanted to go rook c8 and I wanted to avoid the fork. He played g5 and I kind of underestimated how strong this attack was. Once again, I have to go bishop b6 to try to trade off the knights or activate my bishop. Instead, I went rook c8. Just going for my plan of the pawn, but now I give him time to reroute his pieces and put them on better squares. My idea was to go here, but he just simply defended all of my threats, and now my bishop is on d8, which is a very sad square. So he played this move g6, which was great. I had to move my rook. I didn't want to take here, because then, well, I just thought that this pawn would just be able to push forward, but maybe I should take. But I went rook a7, he took, went h5, and this is when I realized that I was in deep, deep trouble. Now, why am I in such deep trouble? Well, because he's going to play h6. This move is going to come with so much force, and basically his dream position is to have a bishop on d3, a rook on h1, h6, and then like pretty much checkmate me. And so I went into full desperado mode here. I try to bring my knight back. I wanted to get a knight up to h6. I thought then I would be fine. If I had a bishop here, I would be fine. But the problem right now is that my rooks are so disconnected. They're not doing anything. They're blocked by pawns. I mean, these rooks are literally not doing what their purpose in life is, which is to be active. These rooks are just not, they just don't get to be free. My bishop absolutely sucks. This knight, I mean, it's going to try to defend. It's coming at its last defense now in the game, but like, now the problem is after I go knight e7 and I try to defend that he has this amazing move h6. And now I thought I was being really clever. I thought that now after I take, which I did, I had very little time, I was really excited because I just thought, oh, now when he takes, I can go king g8. And then after he takes back, I can pick up this pawn with my rook and then I'm fine. What I realized though is that if I go here, he can actually go rook h8 check. And after I take, he can go rook h1 and checkmate me. Like there's nothing for me to stop it. I'm just getting checkmated. So I started panicking. I realized, oh wow, am I just dead lost? And that's when it hit me. Like he took here and I was like, okay, I cannot go here, but I thought if I take here, I get checkmated as well. So I just thought, wait, Anna, you're just getting checkmated now. It was just crazy. So I took on g7 and he went rook g1. Check. Now he's bringing in his other rook. I have to go anywhere here. I went king f8. He checked me. I went king f7. And now, in this position, he has to checkmate in 3 moves. He can literally go rook h1, and then, no matter what I do, pretty much, it's going to be checkmate on h7 the next move. I cannot escape it. Like, I'm getting checkmated. It's game over. I'm getting checkmated. There's nothing. It's a checkmate in 3. He can also, if he wants to, go check and then pick up my rook. It's a free rook. It's just hanging over there. And the idea is that if I now go something like bishop b6, he can actually go back. If I take his rook, he will go check. And okay, it's not a checkmate in 3, but he's going to win this endgame because he's an exchange up. However, in this position, Odin thinks that he's so winning. I mean, he has 35 minutes on the clock here. But Odin thinks that he's so winning that he just pretty quickly captures my knight back. Sorry, he takes it with the e-pawn. He takes it with this pawn. And now, wait, no, I'm going wrong. Yeah, in this position, sorry. He just goes e takes d5. He takes my knight and misses that I have this incredible move, bishop b6, and now I am back in the game. And I saw this move with like a few seconds on the clock. Like I literally went down in this game to 1 second. It was crazy. And I found this bishop b6 move, and now the tables are turning because I'm threatening this rook, I'm threatening this rook, and I'm going to be able to trade 1 rook, and then I'm actually better in this endgame because my bishop is now becoming really strong. All of these pawns are on light squares, and the tables have completely turned. Like, it's crazy. Here, the best thing you can do is actually just take a draw by going back and forth, but he did not want a draw. Instead, he checked once and then moved this rook. We traded rooks. And now when I saw this position, I kind of went, wait a second, Anna, why not play for the win? This king is so weak. Let's play for the win, Anna. That's what I thought. And so I actually played king g8, rook c7. I didn't want to trade rooks. I just, basically my dream idea was that I wanted to bring my rook around. And yeah, I went king f8. I went rook f7. I was doing everything to not trade rooks because I was now playing for the win. And ultimately, he ended up sacrificing his pawn here on c5. So here, after he sacrificed the pawn, his idea was to pick up all of my light squared pawns. But now I get to get my rook very active. And this king that we saw was so weak is now on the branch, on the edge of getting it checkmated. So he took my pawn and then he tried to escape with the king. But now my rook gets so active that he actually had to go back with his bishop to stop the check. So otherwise my bishop was going to come in and I was just going to pick up everything. So he went back, but now it was time for me to pick up all the other pawns. And in this position, after kind of moving around a little bit, he played rook h3, which was a blunder, as I now have this brilliant move, bishop takes a3, which, okay, it is a chess.com brilliant, okay? I just don't have the move things on, but it is a brilliant. Bishop takes a3, and after check, king goes up, the rook went to a7. I was able to capture this pawn. And I mean, oh yeah, sorry, let me just also show here why he cannot take. The reason he cannot take is because I will just basically promote. There's no way of stopping it. So he has to do something else. He went check. And then here, we kind of went back and forth, but this pawn just became so strong. My king moved after this check. I'm threatening right now to check and win the bishop. And after the bishop moved, I pushed my pawn and there was nothing that could stop now myself from getting a queen. So rook b7, I went bishop b4, and now in this position he resigned. And I was so happy because now it was 1.5 versus 1.5. It was the midpoint of the match. It was completely equal and I was just so relieved. But it's crazy that this game went from being a checkmate in 3 to me winning. Like, I still cannot believe it. And a lot of people might say, oh, how could he miss a checkmate in 3? But the truth is that when you're playing a chess game in a tournament, it's very different from knowing that there's a checkmate in 3 moves and seeing it in another game or in a tactic or in a puzzle rush. It's very different, and it's very normal to overlook things. Like, if you don't know that there's a checkmate in 3, you might just say, okay, this position looks completely winning. I have time to just pick up a piece. It makes sense, right? And this happens to the best of us. Like, this has happened to the best players in the world as well. So this happens to the best of us, and yeah, it's just part of chess. I just felt so incredibly lucky that I was able to come back from such a crazy game. Like, I didn't feel like I deserved it at all after that, but and I even went down to second. But yeah, that's, I guess, how chess is. So this was now round 4. I had the white pieces and I played d4. He went knight f6, knight f3, and now I decided to play something I've never played. I was improvising. Like, this opening is full-on improvisation. I didn't want to play against this very aggressive stuff, and I just thought, okay, let's just play a game of chess. So, yeah, I just fanked it. I've never played this position in my life. I went bishop d2. I decided to take with the knight. Maybe this is a bit strange. Typically, my knight wants to go to c3, but I didn't like the idea that if queen takes, the knight comes in. I wasn't sure. So I played d5, I castled, he castled, and I played this move rook c1, which was a little bit strange, because now he has queen b6, threatening both this pawn and this one. So I went knight b3, defending everything, but now he has to move a5, and he's threatening to go a4, so I wasn't really sure what to do, but I found the best move, queen c2, just keeping everything together. Now if a4, my idea is to play knight c5. So he centralized his knight, and I decided to play knight c5 anyways. He played f5. You know, these are the moves that Odin loves to do. He starts pushing all the pawns. I went to knight a4 because I didn't like the idea that if I went e3 that he would be able to take. And I wasn't really sure how this position with pawn takes was. I had actually no idea. So I thought it would be better for me to take there with a piece. Can't take with the queen. Well, I can, but the pawn would be hanging. So I decided to go for this move knight a4 first, forcing his queen to retreat, and now going e3 so that I could go back with the knight over there, and if he now takes, take it with the queen. He went rook a7, which I thought was a bit strange because the rook just looks so passive over there. I went rook d1. And now after this, he played this move g5, which I wasn't surprised at all when he played it, but yeah, I was still kind of shocked. But it's actually a good move. I know that this is kind of play style, and to be honest, it's been kind of hard to face a player that is so aggressive. And also that plays so fast. Like, that is definitely his strength. He plays good moves. He plays them fast, like really fast. And he is always fighting. And that's a great thing to have, especially when we're playing this time control of only 60 minutes. It's the shortest classical chess I've ever had. So yeah, it's kind of like, for me, it's been kind of difficult to play against that. I went knight e1 here, which I think is a pretty good move. My idea was to go knight d3 and just really focus on this knight. He went knight b4, and here, this move may seem like it doesn't matter if I go here with my queen or here, but actually, I would end up regretting this move so much, like, so much. I would end up regretting this move so incredibly much. I really wish I would have gone queen b1 here. The engine says it's slightly worse. I don't care. I think this is a lot better than what I played, because now I can go a3. I can instantly eliminate this knight. I can even maybe play b4 at some point. Queen b3, it looks like the queen is more active here, but I really do not like it. He took my knight, I took back with the rook, and now, once again, here I made a mistake. I should go rook c3 here. And the reason I did not go there was because I was afraid that after queen e8, I was scared that when I moved my queen, he's threatening right now to go bishop a4. I was going to go here rook c1. And now I was afraid that after bishop a4, queen a3, somehow I was worried about b5, which doesn't make any sense. Now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't make any sense. The idea of b5 is that, you know, if he moves the knight, there's a fork. I don't know. I just started seeing a lot of ghosts, and I started seeing a lot, not technically, but it's a chess saying. But I just started seeing a lot of things with b5 and my queen getting trapped, and I just got really worried about putting my rook here. But this was definitely a mistake, and I should absolutely have played rook c3 and rook c1 and played a lot more active. Rook c1 was just not, what I played was just not a good move, and I do regret that. So bishop b5, now I went knight c2. I should probably go bishop f1 immediately. I went knight c2. Honestly, because I kind of didn't realize that his move queen e7 was so strong. This is a fantastic move. The idea is that now if we trade, I'm basically just losing after bishop a4. I'm losing an exchange. It's a skewer. So yeah, he was playing this well. I went bishop f1 now, and now once again he found a fantastic move, bishop c4, which doesn't look like it makes any difference. During the game I thought it did, and I was like, oh, thank you, I'll just go b3 and then I'll be able to go queen b2. But actually this b3 move is really annoying because it stops my queen from going to the other side of the board. And yeah, now the tables in this game are turning. Like, my position was really, really nice, but now it's just kind of crumbling a little bit. It's totally fine still, but I think during the game I thought my position was worse than what it was, and I think that's something I need to work on. Sometimes I get very negative about my chess positions when it starts going a little bit downhill. Like, it's really easy for me to have it go a little bit downhill and then it just like crashes. I think I need to get better at, okay, this is fine, Anna. Like, it's not losing. Like, you're fine. And that's something that I've realized. And I think it maybe comes from the fear of losing. So I need to analyze that a little bit more. But I think it actually would help me a lot to not have that fear when playing games. Which is easier said than done, obviously. But, so b3, I'm threatening the bishop. And here I should have taken and then gone queen a4 to get my queen out. So in this position, he took on f1, I took back. He played this move f4, which is not really actually a good move, but it's just a move that looks really good, and it looks like my king is getting very weak. So here what I should do is actually that I should take, and after it takes, I should trade off these knights and then play the move queen b2. But I really truly just thought that this was really terrifying for me, and I didn't realize that I'm actually a lot better here. I didn't come up with the idea that I could just go h3, king h2, and just be completely safe. It felt like this pawn was very weak. And so for some reason, I just completely saw ghosts here, which is something that you can do in chess. Like, not literally, but, you know, pretty much. So I made the move f3, which here is actually a blunder. And I pretty quickly saw why, because when he takes this pawn on g3, I cannot take back, as if I take back, he has this move, queen c7, threatening both this pawn and the knight. So now I realized that I was in deep, deep trouble. I played knight e1, but now what you're going to see is going to be literally the greatest king run in the whole history of king runs. Like, the run my king is about to make, like, let me just tell you something. This king is about to go right over there. So, yeah, it started with this. I mean, here I realized that it's completely fallen apart. I knew I was getting checkmated. Here I thought he was gonna play king g3, queen check, and then after knight here, I thought he'd play g3. He didn't do this, which I was really surprised about. Instead, he took here on f4 to take my rook. And I decided to play queen a4 to at least threaten some checks. If Odin plays too fast and isn't careful, maybe I'll have a check like this. He checked me, I went king e2. After this, he went back with this knight. I defended, he brought his rook in, and now I thought, okay, if this knight moves, at least I have a checkmate in one. I had like a little tiny bit of hope, like you should have in chess. Then the queen went back. I played knight d2. He took on d4. I played king d3, threatening the knight. And now, well, I thought, okay, let's see if there's any hope. He played queen c2. I took his knight. And now, as you can see, my king is on the run. I mean, there were so many checkmates here that Odin could do. I even took this pawn. I thought, okay, I don't see the immediate checkmate. Let's just pick it up. But to be fair, all of these checkmates are in like 14 moves. So it's not like they're that easy. But the crazy part was that at one point here, I literally can play king h4. And now, like, I'm going to win this pawn. So here we traded queens. And I was like, wait a second, how many pawns do I have? I started counting. And I went, okay, I'm a pawn down, but unfortunately this specific endgame is lost for me, even though I'm only a pawn down, because of the fact that, like, if this pawn wasn't here, it would be a draw, but because he has this pawn, basically, like, I can only ever just stop this or this pawn. This pawn is really weak, so it's lost. King f7. Now I did well, I played the endgame wrong. This is very instructive, actually. You're supposed to actually bring this king and put it behind the pawn, so that this king is the one stopping the pawn. I wanted to have an active king because I thought active chess piece, active king, that's what's supposed to be good. Yes, but sometimes the rules are bended, and this is one of those times. So here I went king g4, and this is bad because now he gets to advance, and now I'm going to have to stop the pawn with my rook instead of with my king. And because if I could go king f2 here, well, that would be different because then I could stop it with the king, but now I have to stop it with the rook. And now my rook can't run around and do the things a rook should do. Rooks are meant to be active pieces. Now my rook wasn't active anymore, and a few moves later here, I just resigned because there's no way for me to both stop this pawn, and he's just going to pick up all of my pawns, and it's completely lost for me. So unfortunately, I lost the second game against Odin today. It was a bit sad. I think it started out with me like just feeling like I got a really bad position when I actually didn't. And I think actually maybe it's a bit psychological. Maybe it comes from fear of losing. You know, you kind of fear so much losing that you overestimate all of your opponent's moves instead of seeing them for what the evaluation is. Which I wish that I could see what the evaluation was, but obviously I can't. But I wish my brain could know exactly what the evaluation was of a position, or evaluate a bit better. So yeah, that's something that I'm taking with me. I hope that you enjoy this. The score right now is 2.5 versus 1.5, which means that I have to win tomorrow. There's 2 games left. I have to win either both games, then I will win the match because it's the first to get 3.5 points that wins. Or I have to draw and then win a game, and then it'll become an Armageddon, which would be incredibly exciting. So don't miss tomorrow's round. Starts at 10:30 a.m. CET. Don't miss it. And yeah, also very big thing. You guys see that I'm wearing a hoodie. I am wearing my own merch. Look at that. It's my own merch. Look at the back of it. It says Anna Cramling Chess Club. Do you see it? Do you see it? Wait, I'm gonna sit over here. I hope you see it. It has my signature. If you want to be part of the Anna Cramling Chess Club, through the merch, then get my merch, annacramling.com. I'll have the link in the bio. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this video, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 3 of my match versus Odin. Hope you're enjoying this.